Hi, everyone. I'm Miranda. I use they, them, theirs pronouns, and I'm the LGBTQ Women's Program Officer at the New Haven Pride Center. I'm so excited to be here today with Max.
Hola. Hola, Miranda. Max Cisneros here, the Latinx Program Officer for the New Haven Pride Center. And I'm excited here for food.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, he, him, his pronouns.
Yes, and you're getting a real treat today because we're bringing in Chef Sonia Salazar. Sonia is the owner and chef of Barracuda Bistro and Bar on Chapel Street. When she opened the Latin American gastro bar 5 years ago, she actively strove to create a safe space for the LGBTQ community. While Barracuda is not a gay bar, it has successfully created a significant addition to the LGBTQ spaces in the city through openness and welcoming that has permeated the ambience of the restaurant. Thank you so much, Sonia, for joining us today. We're so excited to get this little cooking lesson from you. I'll hand it over to Matt.
Hola. So I just wanted to translate that little piece that just we went through. Sonia's, ¿se pronuncia Salazar?
Salazar, sí.
Salazar. Sonia Salazar es la mera chef que se puede encontrar en Barracuda y también en Te Amo Tequila en New Haven. Y ha estado ahí por varios años, me imagino 5 años fue lo que yo oí.
Sí, casi 6 años ahora en noviembre. Almost 6 years in November.
Oh, November, imagínate, eso es un buen ratico. Y aunque yo no conozco New Haven mucho, yo desde que yo llegué a New Haven me han dicho repetidamente que Te Amo Tequila es el lugar donde ir para entender qué está haciendo la comunidad o qué está pensando la comunidad Latinx en New Haven. So, me da mucho gusto estar aquí contigo.
Igualmente.
Thank you so much. So, what are you cooking for us tonight?
We're going to make steak arepas.
Awesome. Yeah, this is something that I really enjoy eating at both of your restaurants. And so I'm super excited to be able to get a little bit of the recipe. Probably won't be able to replicate it as perfectly as you can make it, but super excited for that. Awesome. And Max, what are you eating tonight?
Tonight, much earlier was ramen noodles. But a little later in the day, I knew this was going to happen, so I kind of just wanted to give myself a chance to be open to new ideas. So I came to my friend's Honduran restaurant in Norwalk, and he's shy. He doesn't want to be on camera. I was trying to drag him in front of the camera, but the reason why it's significant for me to be here to do this with you all together is because he is an openly undocumented queer who always had this dream of opening up his own restaurant, and he did that in the last couple of years. So just to understand the kind of like glory, and the first thing he asked me to do when he opened his restaurant is, Max, can you put a safe space sign in front of my door? And that just it just touched my heart. And ever since then, I've been really like championing because not only what he did with being able to like fulfill his dream, but also create a space for folks who may not necessarily find welcoming a Latinx atmosphere out here, for queer folks. So it means so much. I can't tell you how much it means to me to be here though with y'all. And at one point, I'm going to try to drag him in front of the camera so he can say hi.
Awesome. So just before we carry on, I just want to remind you all that we can see your comments and remarks and questions if you comment on our Facebook Live or on our YouTube channel. So please keep those coming. We really love the feedback and the engagement. And we want to make this as interactive as possible so that it's like we're all eating dinner together. And I realized I just forgot to introduce what I was eating. I have finished it all up because I was quite hungry. My tummy does not know when it's supposed to eat food. But I made myself some matzo ball soup tonight, which is something that, although it's a traditionally Jewish food, I taught to make myself, or taught myself to make. And it's definitely my go-to comfort food whenever I'm feeling a little under the weather. So happy to be eating that alongside you. I got it to taste almost like it was from a deli, which is, really good. But I'm really, really excited and wish I could be there to eat some of these arepas. So Sonia, do you want us to begin with the cooking process, first steps? Start the demonstration or?
Yeah, definitely. All right. The
Sonia.
first thing I'm gonna make is a drink for myself because that's how we cook in Colombia.
Yes. All right.
Okay.
What do you
This
drink?
was my grandmother who taught me how to make arepas. They used to wake up early, wear heels, makeup just to cook. And I don't wear a lot of makeup, but I just drink when I cook. So, celebrating our Pride Month, gonna make a vodka martini.
Mm.
2, 3, 4. So arepas are very popular in Colombia. They're also very popular in Venezuela and in Panama. A lot of people love arepas. It's like the tortilla for Mexicans. People really, really love arepas. They also are gluten-free because they're made with corn milk. And we show in New Haven to a lot of people that it can be also a breakfast or dinner. We also serve them for brunch.
Awesome.
So, salud.
Salud.
So we're gonna make some of the cornmeal right here. And also these are 2 cups. We're also gonna do 2 cups of mozzarella cheese. We're gonna put it together. We're gonna put some salt and water. Those are the 3 ingredients of the arepas. Very simple. You can also make them without cheese if you don't like cheese or you don't want to eat cheese. One of the important things is your water has to be salty. So you add a little by little. You mix very well. I'll show you the consistency in a second. A little bit more water. It cannot be too soft or too dry. So in Colombia, you learn how to do arepas when you're 7 years old.
So is that when you started cooking?
Yes. So this is pretty much all I look.
Okay, man.
Stay there for a little longer and make sure that it's nice and soft. Making arepas is so easy that it's only gonna take you like 7 minutes. Now, if you wanna add some steak, like we're gonna do today, or you're gonna add some chicken, maybe you wanna add some pork, it's gonna take a little bit longer. You know, chicken, steak, and all that. You can also have it just with cheese or mantequilla, which is just butter.
I remember one time I was making tortillas with my grandmother. One of the first times I was cooking actually with her, and I was wearing gloves because at the time my first job was at the Stanford Yacht Club, and whenever you're cooking in the kitchen, you had to use gloves. I remember my grandma got such a regañada because I was wearing gloves in her kitchen. She's like, nobody wears gloves in my kitchen. You wash your hands repeatedly, and you put your hands in there. And ever since then, that's the way I cook basically.
Oh yeah.
Just wash your hands. And even when you wear gloves, you have to take gloves all the time and still wash your hands.
Yeah.
Whole department rules.
Oh yeah.
So now that this is ready, we're gonna make the arepas. So we need some holes like this. See?
Oh wow. Okay.
A little bit more. You can put a little bit of water on your hands so it make it easier. And then you smash a little bit. You make it nice and round. And voila. It's an arepa.
Beautiful.
You can make them bigger. I like them smaller like this because it tastes better. You can make them flatten, a little bit more flat. And make sure that your cooking pan is already hot. We're using a little small flat top today. We put some butter in it. And then we put some arepas. See?
Y tú dijiste que the mixture was basically flour, water, and what else?
Mozzarella cheese.
Mozzarella cheese.
Yeah, you
And
definitely
salt, right?
salt.
Yes.
Salts are important. Very important. Right, so right now we're gonna start with 2 arepas. Maybe we do one more. And also, this is something that, for example, if you don't finish everything today, you can keep it in your refrigerator for 7 days.
Oh, nice.
And you can make arepas within the next 7 days, either for lunch or breakfast, dinner.
Perfect.
Está,
Do you mind
está
showing us the inside of your bowl? Or
What was that again?
do you mind showing us the inside of the bowl? Someone in the audience wants to see it.
para ver cómo se ve.
Right here.
Awesome.
Look at that texture. Yeah. See.
Yeah, yeah.
You see when you make tortillas,
Yep.
it looks like this too, but it's a different kind of flour.
Yeah.
No, I'm very familiar with it. See.
Yeah.
No te voy a garantizar that it's going to look like that the first time I'm going to try it. You make it look very easy.
So two cups of flour, like all this and a little bit more, you can serve 10 people.
Beautiful. Wait, Max, I'm going to challenge you this week that by the end of the week, we both have to try the recipe and compare and see, get a secondary opinion on it.
Part of the reason why I was asking is just to make sure that my notes were right as I'm scrolling through, so that way we can't blame the notes. Pero mira, I wanted to ask you, this feels like a silly question, but I think it's a question that I sometimes ask myself and feel embarrassed to. Pero ¿cuál es la diferencia? What's the difference between a pupusa and an arepa?
Well, the flour.
Okay, see, I didn't know that. All right.
Yeah, the flour is different. The texture is different. The flavor is different. I love pupusas. There's this place in Portchester called the Pupusa Loca, something like that. The best pupusa I ever eat in my life.
Okay, in Portchester. Bueno para saber. Okay, Portchester. Got it.
I haven't had a pupusa in so long. I'm from LA, so it's something that I ate a little bit too much of when I was growing up, but I haven't had one, so it's good to know.
Yeah, they're delicious. Now we're gonna cut some veggies. We do some onions and tomatoes, jalapenos. So this way we're gonna mix all those vegetables with our steak. You can use any kind of steak. I'm using hanger steak today. And use whatever you want. So we're gonna chop some onions. Maybe that's a little bit too much, but I'm gonna cut the whole thing so I can use some for tomorrow.
That's like the one time I feel like I know what I'm doing in the kitchen is when I'm chopping. Because it feels so cool to chop, 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 chop. And I'm like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. So,
You got good knife skills.
Sonia, están preguntando, what are the best toppings to put? They're saying the word toppings, but what are the best ingredients to put into an arepa?
Well, I put all the toppings on top. A lot of restaurants put it inside, kind of like they make a sandwich.
Yeah.
I like to put all the ingredients on top, and definitely the salted steak is one of the favorites for everybody at Barracuda. And the pork. So we roasted a pork for 6 hours on orange juice, salt, and pepper. After that, we mix it with a homemade mango barbecue sauce. And when that's ready, we put it on top of the arepas and we dice some mangoes and cilantro.
Wow.
Those two are the favorites, but at home, you can do anything. You can put some scrambled eggs, you can put some orange eggs, you can also do some pork belly, bacon, cheese. It's something that you can eat with anything you want. You can do a salad, like a cold chicken salad, and put it on an arepa, and it will be delicious. So My laptop is not doing a good job right now, so plan B.
All right.
I'm gonna put it on a pan. So this time will get nice and cooked, and also they're gonna get nice and crunchy on the outside.
Mm.
And maybe I can show you guys a little bit of how this is looking. Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
You
Yeah. Hello.
Oh wow, okay. ¿Qué tan caliente? How hot is that? Is the burner on top?
medium. I'll do medium, and then you let them get nice and crunchy, and you keep them. You want to keep them warm after that, and you cook your steak with your vegetables, and it's gonna look really good. Just wait, all right?
No, I could see that. Your
Yeah.
kitchen looks amazing, by the way. Hermoso kitchen.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. So when did you decide to open your own restaurant? What was the process behind that?
I always wanted to cook my own recipes. When you cook for somebody else, you have to follow the recipes. You have to do what they wanted. I wanted to put all these recipes that I have in my head that I learned when I was little, and all the things that I learned, all the places that I work here together on my own restaurant. I also like this. I like to entertain. I like to cook. I like to make sure people are happy. And that was the number one reason. When I came to this country, I knew I was going to be the boss.
You love that? Yes.
And that's another reason, not just being kind.
She's good at that part.
No, yeah, I'm efficient. One of the first places that I worked in this country was Hyatt Hotels in Old Greenwich, and I was there for 5 years, and I love it. I knew that I was gonna open my own restaurant. I knew that cooking was what I wanted to do, and even when I came to this country to be a nurse, and I went to school to be a nurse, that was not me. Cooking is what makes me happy, what makes other people happy, and what made my wife happy.
Nice. A happy wife is a happy life. So yeah.
So if you want to bring a pretty girl home, you got to learn how to make arepas and a good martini.
Yes.
Get them every time.
That would do the trick.
Yeah. And someone asked medium heat with butter, just to double check on the recipe there.
Right, I'm gonna show you now how they're gonna look. How they're looking. They need to look nice and golden brown. I know I've been doing a good job with this video with phone, but this is when they started.
You're making it work. It looks beautiful. Ooh, yeah, you've got that nice texture
That looks
there.
yummy. Yep.
So they start to look nice and golden brown. They have to be nice and crunchy outside. And they're almost ready. So the only thing we need to do is keep them hot, warm, while we're cooking the toppings of the steak. See, that's how they're supposed to be looking right now. A lot of people like them flattened, like they like them skinnier because they get crunchier. I like it too.
We've got the nice crunch on the outside, and it's chewy and warm.
Right.
Soft on the inside. Yeah.
Right. And this is only on medium. You don't want to do too hot because then they will get burned, and they will get burned fast. This is a lot of cheese in it, so that won't burn them. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm asking what kind of flour? So corn flour, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna cook some. We're gonna slice some onions. We're gonna slice some nice jalapenos.
Chop, chop, chop.
Yeah.
Take your time when you do this. You don't want to do it too fast if you don't have to. Then I'm gonna slice half a tomato. Then you do the same thing.
Awesome. The speed. I can't do that.
I know.
It's like, girl.
That one has 3 martinis.
See, in my case, it would be the margaritas, but basically same deal.
Definitely, definitely. We decided to do martinis. It's Martini Tuesdays
Yeah.
at home.
Yeah. Patrick's saying he's jealous of how sharp your knives are. Yeah.
So we just throw some garlic. We're gonna chop it nice too, very, very, very small. Nice. So now we're gonna take those arepas out of the heat right here. It's not the right now.
Oh, that looks beautiful.
Right now you can't eat the arepa. You don't need anything else.
Yeah.
But if you want to make some fun, you put a little bit more. Now on the same pan, we're gonna put the garlic first.
Mm.
So caramelize that garlic. You always want to put the garlic and the onions first.
Yeah.
So the juices and the flavor come out.
Oh yeah.
Can you hear that?
Yeah. The sizzle.
Uh-oh.
It's like a sound that you can almost smell the garlic and the onions when you hear that.
What was that again?
just making comments. You can almost smell it when you hear that kind of sizzle in the neighbor kitchen. And Max has returned from the full
From a parallel universe. Who knows where I went? It doesn't matter. I'm back now. I'm back with the food.
Now we're gonna get this nice piece of steak. I cleaned it already. Now we're gonna slice it. And I use a different knife to do that. You can only do small pieces. Right here we have like 2 pounds. But we have that. You can cook for 3 people. Arepas are very filling.
Yeah.
What you do with your steak and onions, you make sure all the flavors saute together.
Damn.
Make sure you put a little bit of salt. Make sure you drop a little bit of salt for gelato.
Yeah.
And then you go into the rest of the ingredients now. Tomatoes, jalapenos. You let it cook. You want the tomato juice to come out, caramelize the onions and the garlic so you make a perfect sauce. Gonna wash my hands.
See, it was a good thing that I wasn't cooking at home because I would have tried to do that with a pan, pop it up like that, and that would have been no. So good call. Good call.
Make sure don't go on the floor because your dog will eat it all. She was waiting for that to happen.
Oh, you're beautiful.
Oh, puppy.
Hi, baby.
We call her Canela too.
Canela.
Latin,
Yeah.
Maria Canela Salazar Reichenberg.
Yeah. Normally we have cats on here, so nice little puppies are a good change. The cats are still cute. They're just, in the rooms trying to not let them be little humans.
We know. We have one inside there too, so you don't want to come out.
Of course, every time we're eating, I know, and that's how it is in my grandma's place. Every time we're eating, the pets aren't too far away. Just always, whenever there's food in the room, the pets are just like, they know where it is before you even realize where it is. They're just good about it.
Yeah. Gonna make some nice. So what else, guys? Tell me something about you that I don't know.
Ooh.
Okay. I'll jump in real quick. Me parece bien interesante that you chose the arepa because de lo que entiendo eres boricua, me imagino.
I'm sorry, what was that again?
Te estaba preguntando de dónde eres.
Colombia.
Okay, particular. Okay, because I think that there's a lot of different foods that folks don't really like. Certain Dominican folks or Puerto Ricans don't necessarily cook or have a tradition of Latin American food from Central America and Latin. So there's a lot of fracturing. Entonces me parece genial de que you're trying different recipes because even though I'm Mexican, my godmother's Puerto Rican. So ella siempre cocinaba arroz con gandules, and those were the sense of my childhood. So growing up, I always wanted to learn how to cook Puerto Rican food, but I'm Mexican, and people were like, "What's up with that?" It's almost like you're only supposed to like know and cook your own food from your own country. And we have like my favorite cuisine is Peruvian. Y poder cocinar lomo saltado for me was a bit before I became vegetarian was a big deal. So learning how to do lomo saltado and arroz con gandules not only brought me closer to like my childhood, but also to my culture.
I love lomo saltado. Going
So
back
good.
to what you were saying, it's so important to keep showing to anybody who you are, where you come from, what are your real Latino flavor. Don't matter if you're Colombian, Peruvian, Ecuadorian, you gotta show what makes you rich in this country. And the only thing that will always make you rich is identify yourself as a great Latino. Latinx, should I say.
Yeah. So my older brother used to be a chef. He quit after nearly a decade of working in that industry to go back to school. But he always talked about how, you know, difficult that environment can be, and especially for like the women that he worked with. So just out of curiosity, as a woman, especially as a queer woman in that industry, how did you kind of cope with some of those struggles? Did you encounter any kind of like roadblocks along the way? And what was it like, when you were finally able to kind of be your own boss and be the boss lady that you wanted to be?
Well, when you're Latina and came from another country, nobody knows if you speak English or not.
Mm.
So the only things I was doing, I would say, even when I hear them talking about me and trying to make me feel down, I didn't speak any English, so I didn't understand what you were saying. So I never let no one to let me down, even when I understand what they were saying, even when they were making me feel the way they were making me feel. When you come from another country, there's no time for red lights. You got to keep going. You don't let nobody stop you. And that's what I did. And I feel like it works for me. And I told my friends and I told my all the people that wants to open their own restaurant and they want to open their own business. There's no time to listen to other people. You got to do you. You got to put your idea on the table and execute. Execute. That's it.
Mm.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah. Just sitting, sorry, just sitting with that. Very powerful. Yeah.
It's not just also about like connecting with your roots culturally, pero también yo creo que connecting with the history of the way that we have like the history we have with food. I think that even when we smell things, de repente memories come back to us, and food has a way of bringing us right back to the place where we learn things or something happened to us, and I remember the smell. So
Yeah.
so to me, like that's a really powerful thing to bring you back to your past. Like I remember my mother would cook quesadillas, right? And she would do it differently than every other person who ever cooked quesadillas, because that's the way my mother was. And she would do it with the chicken. And so I wanted to learn how to do quesadillas with vegetables. So I kind of like took her recipe and try to make it a little bit more. And I think a lot of folks are trying to do that. They're trying to make the recipes that they grew up with, or make it healthier or different. So I wonder if you find that happening also, as you're putting together meals in your menu for your restaurants, you're noting people's palates are different.
Yeah, no. Absolutely. Definitely, I know what you're saying, and I feel the same way. one of the things that make me happy the most is when the students also come from other parts of the country and they find that smell of, you know, moms, grandmas, or home food, and they make them feel at home. And I hear that all the time of Barracuda. You know, this is I love it. I love that I feel that way, and I love that I make other people feel the same way with food. Yes.
Yeah. No, that's a tremendously powerful thing to be able to do. You know, those smells that just remind you of growing up and all of that. Yeah.
No, you know what? It's while you guys were saying this, I just started remembering all the things. You know, like the Dominicans. Like I had this Dominican friend that came from New York, and another Dominican friend that came from Miami, and they were like, "Baby, what are you cooking, mommy?" So, all the things that you remember when you're cooking for other people, they are awesome. It's just,
Yeah.
Yes. So the arepas are ready. The steak is ready. So the arepas are here. You can see them. They look nice, golden brown. Look beautiful.
Beautiful.
That's how they're supposed to look. And then we have the steak here already cooked. You can see.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that looks amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And now we're gonna plate
Well,
it.
I just finished my food and I'm already hungry.
Now we're gonna put this beautiful plate. Put one in the middle, one in the middle, and put some nice. See how they look?
Oh, that looks so beautiful.
And they always,
Mm.
you know,
It smells amazing.
you don't want the whole thing to get dry because you want that juice of the steak and the jalapeno and the tomatoes and the arepa. You know, you got to taste it all.
Mm.
And this is what I cook today for you guys. And hopefully you like it.
Beautiful.
We got to do this live next time.
Yeah, we.
Next time you guys can come over.
Oh, yes.
How's that?
Yes. No, it's like COVID needs to end.
Like today.
No,
Bring everybody to the house. I have a big table. I'll cook for all you guys.
that looks so amazing. And yes, it's like gotta check out the restaurant and get that.
Guys,
Oh,
seriously, have to come next time.
yes. Absolutely. Would love to. It would be an honor. So how did you and your wife meet?
Sorry, say that again.
I'm just wondering on a personal note, how did you and your wife meet?
Huh.
So you know.
Don't think about it, Mr. Christina, it'll be the whole night.
You want her version or the real version?
I relate to that.
I don't know, one Friday night last summer, I saw this beautiful woman coming inside the restaurant, and I was like, wow, I need to talk to her. And the rest is history. She loved me. She married me. We made Barracuda when she moved from New Jersey to Connecticut 3 years ago. And we became really good friends for 24 hours. And I cooked for her, and I made her drink.
And 5 martinis later.
And 5 martinis later, she asked me to marry her. So
Nice.
It's good to know that it's fun.
yeah, very happy. Got married last year. I can't tell you. I can't even explain how happy I am. It's scary happy, you know. And we're planning to get pregnant, so that means I have to cook for 5 more kids.
A mí se me hace that you'll manage okay.
Yeah, yeah. No, you can see it on your face how happy you are. You have a very cute smile. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I gotta say that para particularmente para la comunidad that in an industry, and I don't know too much about it, you can correct me, but an industry that's so heavily the best cooks in my life have been women, but in an industry where it seems like the best cooks in the world supposedly are men, it looks like a very male dominated space. So the image and the role model of having a strong Latinx women be in a position that you are, to me, I think it's pretty significant for a lot of folks to understand that this could happen too. This is something that does happen too, and celebrate that. Entonces para mí es un gran punto de orgullo, para estar aquí y celebrar que we're queer, we're here, and we're everywhere, and we can cook.
Sí.
So like it's beautiful.
Claro que sí, sí. Comparto la misma idea contigo, sí.
And also venimos de cualquier rincón. Mi otra madrina is de Colombia, and she tried to teach me how to do empanadas, but it didn't work. It didn't. I kept eating the filling. Yeah, they are.
Time consuming, but they're delicious, yeah.
No, they're so good. But it's like I feel like eso es lo que podemos hacer. We could sit down and like learn to cook with our folks and learn a little bit more about our own culture that way. Food is just a way of connecting us, whether we like it or not in many cases.
Exactamente.
You just see the plate disappear across the counter.
I hear that's what I make the third one.
Yeah. Your food's never your own.
You can't resist.
Any minute now, I expected Canela's paw to just like slowly grab the grab the plate and just move it away.
You tell me what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, you gotta keep your eye on the little fur babies when you're cooking anything that's vegan, especially.
We cook. I gotta tell you something. We cook every day.
Wow.
Even when I'm at restaurants. Excuse me. Even when I'm at the restaurants every day, we either do breakfast or lunch. So we always cooking. She is also a great cook. She has my sous chef. Jalapenos. Yeah.
They got you.
What does DJ like to cook? What's your favorite recipe of hers?
Their drugs?
Mhm.
Well, she cooked at Benedict's.
Yeah.
She loved those.
I'm really good at breakfast.
Yeah.
That's how I won Sonia over.
Sunday breakfast.
Oh yeah. So you make, dinner, a couple martinis the next morning. Having breakfast.
Absolutely, yes. You made me a really good Italian soup once.
Mm-hmm.
So she's Italian. One of the best Italian soups I ever had. Yeah, delicious. Yeah.
Ooh.
That's awesome. I think that's something that happens that it brings us like I know that there was one person I dated. He's Peruvian, and I dated him pretty much because he was an excellent cook. And it's a horrible thing to admit, but it's something I have to come to terms with now. And we're still very good friends, and he's still an excellent cook, probably even better. But I mention it because like it has a way, like I mentioned earlier, it has a way of bringing us together. He knew my mom really well, and so both of them, he taught my mother how to cook pozole, which is a very Mexican soup. But it is something I always wanted my mom to teach me how to cook pozole. So what's funny now is that whenever I notice I cook rice, she never taught me how to cook rice, but whenever I cook it now, it tastes like hers.
Oh,
So I noticed that things like that happen. So even though she never taught me how to cook pozole, I bet that if I learned how to cook it, it would end up probably tasting close to hers.
I love
Um,
this.
Yeah.
It's it's a classic like mole, like classic Mexican deal.
Right,
But
right.
but I wanted to ask you, are there any dishes that you remember from your childhood growing up that you really wanted to learn how to do or at least make your own?
Well, sancocho is one of the things that we made the most at home too, and it's just difficult to make because that distinguished flavor of a Colombian woman that had been making it for years. It's really hard to compete with that. So sancocho is a soup that it has steak and chicken and pork. It also have potatoes and garlic and corn on the cob. So it's like a really good soup. And I can never get that right. My mother makes the best. Nothing tastes like hers. No matter what I do, I copy her recipe. It's just a touch that people have, and sometimes you can copy those things.
Yeah, absolutely. I recently tried making this dish that my family calls mantilla. Some Turkish folks might know as sort of mante or mantilla. And my mom, and she got it from. She says she doesn't make it as good as her grandma did, and so far, and my great grandfather. And so I've tried to make it, and it just never comes out quite right. But even so, every time I cook it, I relate to Max in that my food always ends up tasting like my mom would make it. Always has the same sort of like seasonings. I gravitate towards the same sort of like spices that she does. But when it comes to those dishes, those really special ones that you grow up with, it's never the same.
I really think it's because moms always want you to come back home and have the real meal, so they don't tell you the whole recipe.
Oh yeah. My mom's like, it's easy. You just do this and this and this, and you're fine. I'm like, that's not a recipe. The thing is, it's like I know myself. I know that that's how I'm going to be with my kids. It's just I'm like, there's no recipe, only skills. You gotta just do it and like hope for the best.
So my friend Keisha Kate, one of my best friends, she's also a female chef in New Haven in Connecticut. She traveled half of Italy, make delicious food. And sometimes she told me I still can like make some of my mother's meal, but I go anywhere in other countries in this country and I make these beautiful plates. But I know that I'm missing a touch, and it's a mom thing, it's a family thing, that is there is that you can copy. So I know I understand.
Yeah.
And it makes a big difference when you know it's there. Como que, porque it's not something you can identify, you can point out, you just feel.
Exactly.
And then when you feel it, it's like, okay, this feels like home, this feels like, whatever it is that brings you back, that roots you. Entonces, eso es algo, that's what I try to replicate. I know it's not going to taste like my mom's. I know it's not going to taste like my grandma, my godmother's. But just the effort I put into it makes it taste like I did this. That's major. And I didn't burn down the house in the process. That's even better.
But even when I finished it, I told my kids, just like your grandma made it. So they believe I did a good job.
Yeah.
Miranda, you're so right though about the way that like recipes are explained to us by our parents. Like you do this and this and this, and their hands are going like a mile a minute, and there's no way that you could like copy it, and they know what they're doing.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like I know myself, and we have this running joke in my circle of friends that like my best friend's boyfriend will receive like photos from her of like whatever food that we're making, right? And for a while he never asked for any of my recipes, and then the one time he did, I was like, there is no recipe, only skill. Because I was like, I cannot explain to you actually how to make
the recipe is on my heart.
Recipe is on my heart. I was like, it's just gut instinct. I hope for the best. It comes out tasting good. It's like you just cook the chicken. How do you cook the chicken? I don't know. You just cook it. You chop it up. You put it in the pan and cook it.
But I do appreciate that people do that. There's
Yeah.
a lot of people they go to the supermarket, get $100 in groceries, and decide to cook for the weekend. And I love that. I feel like we should all do it.
Yeah,
At home sometime.
yeah. Gotta get creative.
Yeah, also there's an economic piece, porque going out and eating costs a lot of money. And so being able to be comfortable at home and cooking more often at home and not feeling stressed about it, I think that makes not only in the bank account, but also like it makes you feel good. That I'm cooking more, I'm doing this, I can go home and make my own food. I don't know where am I going to go, or how much money do I have, like and all that. Pero it's a sense of empowerment, you can give yourself. Y también, and this is, I'm going a little bit of a tangent here, but I think it's worth it, that I think that a lot of people now may feel like powerless, whether it's the environment they're in or political process, whatever you want, like they feel powerless. What you eat, what you decide to put in your body gives you power. You choose. There's many folks who don't have choices, but yo creo que eso es un lugar donde a lot of people can tap into their own power. What you choose to eat, what you choose to buy, that's power. And so I think about, and especially when I think about queer power, LGBTQ plus power, like the where we want to put our food money, where do we want to, kind of like build community. Food can help us do that. And so there's a lot of different ways that we could just like find ways to connect with each other, and food is one of the more powerful ones that I can think of.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we just wrapped it up, but we were doing sort of food deliveries to people that need it here in Connecticut, and I think that was one of the more powerful actions that I'm so glad I'm proud to have been working for an organization that was doing that and was participating in helping community members. So when you have like good healthy groceries in your fridge, I think that sort of helps with your sense of security. And having grown up, before my mom met my stepdad, we struggled a lot. And a lot of our groceries, we got them at the 99-cent store, and they're on the last legs. But just having like a mom who put an effort to making everything try and like taste good, and who, once we were able to be a little bit more stable, really put in the effort into teaching me how to cook and take care of myself, and not have to have those cheap microwave meals anymore. It's definitely something that I felt super lucky for. So yeah, I think I just reiterating what Max said. I do think that cooking and being able to cook and have those groceries is definitely empowering. I also want to flag what Juan Carlos, our amazing director of case management, just commented, which is that yes, going out is expensive, but when you do go out, definitely go to Tequila. Highly recommend it. They're open right now with outdoor seating. If you feel safe and comfortable with that, I think you're also doing checkout still. Yes. Or yeah, and amazing food and drinks. Highly recommend. That's definitely as someone based in New Haven. I've been like internally fangirling this whole time because between my girlfriend and I, your two restaurants are my favorite two restaurants in New Haven. Sort of both, affordable, amazing food, amazing drinks, and just a wonderful place to go out to. So.
Absolutely affordable, and what we want the people to do is to have a good time. Even when I know some of those tacos can be $18, $24, we want people to enjoy their time without breaking the bank. Have a good time, have a happy hour drink, go home, come back for the second happy hour. But it's always so good to see our community there. We don't. I don't see just one people in our restaurants, and that for me is an accomplishment. As we see everybody there, we see everybody having a good time. We welcome to everybody, and that was one of the points to open Barracuda and also to open Te Amo Tequila. And that word love there, Te Amo Tequila, is not for the love of tequila. It's for the love for our community, for the love of our people, for the love of everyone in general. And we're very happy, very very happy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If I could just also add for my earlier comment, just add a little more. I just wanted to say that there are folks in the community that, como te había dicho, I had not lived in New Haven, but when I came out here and I asked folks, so where do the Latinx folks go? Almost consistently, they would tell me, Te amo tequila. So that is a place that we can go and use our power because that is a space that has been created for us to be able to build community. So I just wanted to throw that out there too.
Absolutely. All right. So I think that it's a wrap. Thank you so much for joining us. I can't iterate that enough. It was really just an honor to be able to learn to cook anything from you, let alone amazing editing, which is something that I'm going to have to try this week to hopefully do. It's Rosh Hashanah on Friday, so maybe that'll be our special meal for that. Thank you so much for being here. I'll leave it with Max to close this on out. And any final comments from you, Sonia?
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a pleasure.
No, gracias a ti, to not just, and also the beautiful minds in the background, JC Soto and Patrick Dunn, this really is kind of like a team effort, and all of us working so hard, it for the community, it really shows how much, what we can do when we pull ourselves together and work for each other. Entonces, provecho a ti, muchas gracias,
Gracias por
felicidades.
el programa.
Oh, claro que sí. And as always, mucho orgullo. Happy Pride, everyone.